Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ben and this is the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast. Hey family, I hope you're well wherever you are and you got that thin blue smoke rolling. This episode is part of my US road trip series where I travel through several states competing at the Houston World's BBQ Championships and learning as much about barbecue as possible. The trip starts in Texas before going across to Louisiana and then up into Arkansas. It was a hell of a trip and I'm so excited to be able to share it with you. Before we get into it, I want to invite you to come join us at the Smoking Hot Confessions community on Facebook. It's a great place to continue the conversation. Also, make sure you get your free copy of my ebook, 27 Lessons Learned from Competition Barbecue. Jump on over to smokinghotconfessions.com/ebooks to get your copy now. Finally, however you listen to this episode, please make sure you subscribe, rate and review. This will really help me spread that barbecue love. Alright, it is time to dig in, folks. One of the things I love about barbecue comps is the networking that happens. One of the fantastic connections I made at the Houston World's BBQ Championships was Craig Verhage, the BBQ Ninja. He was there helping out one of the British teams and was also working with another team as well doing whole hogs for their evening soirees. He's been competing for 4 times longer than our whole scene has been operating, has a wealth of knowledge, he's a TV celebrity, and in this episode, he's going to be giving us a lesson in whole hog cooking.
This is the internationally awarded Smoking Hot Confessions podcast with your host, Ben Arnott. How long's it been since your last confession?
A key player in the barbecue scene is Clean Heat Charcoal. Whether it's sponsoring festivals, supporting teams, or supplying the fuel for your backyard cookouts, Abel and his team work tirelessly to bring you the best barbecue experience. Their charcoal burns hot and it burns long. Clean Heat Charcoal embraces their global responsibilities as an industry leader, and all of their products are 100% natural, sustainable, and eco-friendly. The charcoal is made from an invasive species that is destroying valuable farmland in Namibia, and they offer locals employment opportunities they wouldn't otherwise have. Whether it's cooking burgers in your backyard or saving the planet, you can rest assured knowing it's made with Clean Heat. Clean Heat Charcoal is available all around Australia and will be hitting the US shortly. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to learn more. Craig, welcome to the confessional, mate. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been an awesome weekend and, full of barbecue and full of hard work and fun. And so, just doing what I do. So, hey, life's good.
That's awesome, man. And so what have you been doing this weekend?
We cooked at an event in New Orleans, Louisiana, here in the States. And it's an event very near and dear to our heart called Hogs for the Cause. It raises money for kids with pediatric brain cancer. And we've kind of been a part of this event from its infancy and has watched it, blossom into a thing to do event. And but it was great. Weather was great, and pulled off raising $1.5 million for the kids, and so feel good.
Mate, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Cooking some barbecue, doing some good in the world.
You're exactly right. That's what it's all about.
So my standard question then, I guess you pretty much already answered that. The last thing that you cooked was a whole hog, obviously. How did that turn out?
The hog turned out really well. This event we do the whole hog, and we do ribs. We do pork shoulder, and also it's called a pork puree, which can be anything under the sun, that involves pork. And but the hog turned out real well. We got it on yesterday. Probably when I say yesterday, no, it was actually Friday. Probably about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening, and we had to present it at 11 o'clock in the morning, and just kept the temperature constant all night long, set it on, 225 to 250 and let it run on into the morning.
Mate, that sounds like a great way to spend a night to me. I'm jealous I couldn't be there.
Well, we'd have loved to have you, and may have to put this on the calendar next year. Just come to Houston and stay.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to. So I know that you do a lot of work with your barbecue teams and your restaurants and all that sort of stuff, but what do you actually cook on at home for yourself? What's on your back porch?
On my back porch, I got a Weber Smoky Joe. It's a small unit, charcoal burner, and it's just the wife and I and a cat. So, I don't need a large grill, but it's just something quick, something easy, and something to throw the roll of lump charcoal in and let it rip. But that's what I got on my back porch, sitting on the table.
It's funny you say that. I just bought one just a little while ago, and mine is sitting on my back porch right now, and I've just used it the last 2 nights in a row. I love it.
Well, there we go. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us a bit about your history with barbecue. How did you get into it?
Well, I'll tell you, I actually, back in 1994, I had some buddies just out of school and out of college that I knew real well and went to school with, and we decided a little local, barbecue competition to throw a team together. And we had cooked a little bit together at different functions through school, and we thought we were all right. And so we decided to enter the professional part of it. And, it's just one of those things that first competition we cooked in, we made the finals and got third place. And when that happened, I guess it just kind of got the competitive juices flowing in me, and I was hooked. In, and I knew that was something that I wanted to do, and it just lit a fire in me, and it's a fire that hasn't even dimmed since then. It's done nothing but grow.
That's a really cool story, man. So was it a fast, slippery slope down into barbecue obsession, or did you sort of take your time and ease into it? Well,
it was. I fell hard. I fell hard, and we decided to do a couple of competitions through the next few years, and we actually cooked Memphis in May for 3 straight years as Pork and the Please was the name of that team, and it just the competitive part of it, the love to cook. The camaraderie of sitting around a fire pot and hanging out with your friends, and that part of it was what I really liked. And then we went a few years, and as typical young guys do, some started getting married, and some started getting careers, and we just kind of went different ways. And when that happened, that's when I got a call from Gary Roark, Ubon's Barbecue of Yazoo, and he said, "Hey, I see you love cooking. I see that you've got the passion to want to do it, and I know your team's breaking up, and we'd love for you to come join us." And of course, it took me about a millisecond to tell him yes, and I'd love to. And so, yeah, it was definitely a huge upgrade, and he was and still is known as one of the best barbecue cookers out there in the world, and to get that opportunity was something I wanted to jump on for sure.
Yeah, now I read that in your bio, and I did a little bit of reading up on Ubon's. There's a whole lot of history there. They do all sorts of different sauces and restaurants and competitions and all that. So what's your involvement there? Are you just in the team, or are you sort of more involved in all sorts of different stuff with them?
Well, I'm with the Ubon's Barbecue of Yazoo. I'm involved with the team part of it. The restaurant runs separate. I've got my insurance agent, sales guy, by week that I do, and then just come in on the weekends and do the cooking and then do the logistics, and so we all over the years know our kind of what we're responsible for, and when we show up, what we need to do. And it's like a lot of other teams, they have team meetings and they have assignments, and they do that. We just show up and we know. We've been doing it so long together. Eye contact's all you need, and you know what the other person's thinking, and you know what to do and how to do it. So I guess it's just one of those long experience things.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I love watching teams that have been working together for a long time, and you just see them. They're just like one well-oiled machine. It's incredible to watch. So tell us a bit about some of your successes with that team.
Well, man, we've at Memphis and made world championship. We've won a world championship in shoulders. We've won a first. We've won a second. We've won a third, and we've won, probably 10, 12 other top 10, shoulders there. And we're actually this year going to cook whole hog. But we've also, we've had successes at the Jack Daniels World Championship. We've got, I think, 3 top 3 finishes there, as far as 1 in hog and 1 in shoulder and 1 in rib. So it's we walked some good stages and done some really good things together. We won a hog best of the best, and this team is kind of really involved from the competition part of barbecue. When you do that and kind of build up your reputation and kind of build up, what your accomplishments, then, we kind of made a decision about 10 years ago that we're going to kind of use our hard work and successes to, go out there and do things like we did this weekend, use our name, use our reputation, use our hard work to benefit others. And so our team has kind of evolved from that competition team, that would run the road and, do 15, 20 comps a year, to now we do more festivals and vending, and we go out and we'll help raise money for someone, or, there's a competition that wants to, have us come and help them. Just kind of use, what we've done in the past to help others in building a festival, or, building a foundation to hopefully have success in what they're trying to do.
Sounds like you found a higher purpose in barbecue, mate. I love it. So you're based in Missouri, and a big part of this season is finding out about barbecue in different regions. Can you fill us in on what sets Missouri and barbecue apart?
Well, we're close to Missouri. We're actually in Mississippi, and so it's kind of the same region there with Missouri. But the Mississippi barbecue is kind of influenced with your Memphis style. We also, in Mississippi, we do take a little bit of the Carolina, the vinegar but we also sweeten it up with the Memphis style. So we kind of have an infusion of a couple of different regions that we use as far as our, Mississippi style barbecue. But we, we're in that region with Memphis, and, we like the sweet barbecue. We like the glaze on it, and that's kind of what our MO is in Mississippi.
Man, that sounds so good. Is there like a particular cut which symbolizes Mississippi barbecue? More
of the pork shoulder. We're a pulled pork area in Mississippi. We like the pulled pork, and we like to sweeten it up and put it on a bun and put some good slaw on top of that and have a wonderful sandwich. So I would have to say, yeah, the pulled pork is what we really are known for more than anything in Mississippi.
Ah, man, I do love some pulled pork. So you have a really interesting nickname. You're known as the BBQ Ninja. How did that come about?
It's a good story, actually. It's probably been 8 or 9 years ago now. Time flies, don't blink, because if you do, 10 years heads through. But we were there, and there was a film crew there filming a documentary on us, and I always wear a bandana. When I cook, I work hard, I sweat a lot. And so, I've always done that. And I was kind of off to the side. And, it's like when the work starts, I pull the hat off, I put the bandana on. It's kind of mode I go into, a mindset. Once it's on, and so I was off to the side doing that, and I, put the bandana on my head and strapped it on and looked around, and the guy had the camera like right on me. And so I just kind of did a bow to the camera and came up, and the camera guy said, "The BBQ Ninja, awake." And that was it. When he said that, it caught on, and now like this weekend, walk around the festival, everybody's like, "Hey Ninja, hey Ninja." Hey, it's fun. It's a good brand, and I guess you would say it's more of a mindset and a mode that I go into when it's time to get down to business. It's time to work, and it's time to get things done. So call it ninja mode.
Yeah, man, sounds good. If you can combine something you're already doing with something that's going to stick in people's mind, then that's going to be a perfect brand point there. Now, speaking of which, the business card that you gave me says that BBQ Ninja is a brand ambassador and consultant. Now, I've just wrapped up a season on different avenues of barbecue business, but can you tell us a little bit about what you do in each of those roles?
Well, the brand ambassador part of it, social media is, as well, more than anyone, has become a big avenue and a big vehicle to put products and put advertisers, sponsors, and all that out there for the followers to see. And you can be so specific in what you kind of put your energies towards, like me and barbecue and all that. So when you have someone that comes to you that wants to, do a sponsorship, and they know that when you go out there and what you put out there is going to reach that target audience that they're looking for and that they want to, advertise to, then that's the brand ambassadoring part of it. You're out representing that brand. You're out, in the trenches, so to speak, using their product, and you're putting them out there on social media for everyone and your followers to see. And so, that's that part of it, the brand ambassador. And, the consultant part of it, that's a word that of course is a very broad word. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to use it, just because I didn't want to be specific in my energy. I wanted to be able to help in many, many ways. And, and that's everything from coming to a restaurant and cooking a hog for an event to going to that restaurant and helping them develop, sauces and rubs to, help complement their need. And also, the consultant part, I've helped some events that are new, that come about, that want to, have barbecue as a part of an event, but they don't understand how a barbecue team works, or they don't understand the needs of a barbecue team. And you go in and you work with these people and say, okay, if you're going to bring in, 10 barbecue teams, you need to know their needs. You need to know what they're going to need on site. You're going to need to know, what to prepare for. And, we just worked with one, Leslie and I did, and they were wanting to bring in 12 barbecue teams and have this big event. And once we got to talking to them and figure out that the capacity that they needed, only 6 teams could do that. They didn't need 12 teams. Well, they didn't understand how much product that one team could produce. But once they understood that and know that they only need 6 teams, well, on average, it costs about $10,000 to bring a team in. So we say that event $60,000 real quick. And so that's another part of the consulting. So it's very broad. The brand ambassadoring, having a pit company or charcoal company or something like that wants you to go and do demos. That's part of the consulting and brand ambassadoring. So it's broad, but I wanted it to be that way, so I wouldn't limit myself to, just specializing in one thing. So that's that part of it.
Mate, that sounds like a very good strategy to me. I love the sound of that. Now, I heard that you leveraged that into a really good opportunity and that you're now a fully fledged TV barbecue personality. How did that come about, and what was that experience like?
Well, it came about, I guess I'd have to almost say our whole cooking team is full of barbecue personalities and TV personalities. I think I'm one of about 5 that now have done a TV show and that are just on my team. So, and that kind of came about with Leslie. She's my cooking partner, and she was on the Chop about 4 or 5 years ago, and just said, hey, you're perfect for what they're looking for. I've been through this. I'm telling you, you need to talk to them. And then, producer came out and talked to me and went through the process. And, last year was on Chop Grill Masters and did that show, and it went real well. And so, even after that, you start getting recognized, and, especially at events that you do. And so, that kind of helps the brand a lot once you're, national TV. But, the big thing is just being genuine, being who you are and not trying to turn on a different personality just because of the TV's on. It's, I'm Mississippi Delta country boy, and when it went to the TV, I didn't try to polish up anything and be somebody I wasn't. So, and I think that came through, and I think that was what was conveyed through the TV was, hey, this guy's genuine. He loves what he's doing, and it's kind of been fun, really.
Keeping it real in reality television, mate. That's refreshing. There's so much fake reality TV out there, I can't even start.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Exactly right. Well, I mean, and TV is one thing that has really blown barbecue up to the point where it is now. I mean, once, the show started hitting TV, the Barbecue Pit Wars, Barbecue Pit Masters, and then the Chop started having their Grill Masters, and then, it was just started one TV show after another. And so everybody started, seeing these barbecue personalities and actually getting to see what these people do. And so that's what really took off industry wide.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of interesting. We've just recently had kind of a best of series of barbecue pitmasters hit Netflix here in Australia, because we have different Netflix libraries to what you have over there. And some of these episodes are from 2012, and the Aussie audiences over here are still raving about it, still right into it. There's still current threads on, conversation threads on Facebook groups and all that sort of stuff. It's fascinating what that medium can bring to an industry.
Yeah, I think in 2012 may have been when Leslie and Gary from our cook team was on Barbecue Pitmaster. So that's, like I said, that's when everything really started ramping up as far as the visibility of barbecue. And now, once it goes over there across the pond, things caught on too. And I got to witness that firsthand. So it was pretty cool.
So you have a bit of an Aussie connection. I understand that you came out last year and you were guest chef at Yaks in WA. So how was that, mate? And how did you like the Aussie barbecue scene? Coming over to Australia last year, Leslie and I, we're humble people, and being able to come over and do that was just definitely probably up to now is the highlight of my barbecue career, to be able to come over there and be recognized and to be a part of that culture. I mean, it was just, it was very refreshing, to come over there. It really, really took me back to when I was really getting in and starting, to cook barbecue, the simplicity of the pits and just the energy of the cooks and the willing to learn and the wanting to know, hey, how do you do it?
it's one of those when you start talking about it, I mean, it's almost like their inner tape recorder starts going, and they're just soaking it all in, and, and sleeping in the sleeping bag out on site all night long, just things like that. And then when we did the award ceremony, it was just seeing the excitement, but yeah, they kind of go back to how we got there. We got approached in New York. We cooked up there at the Big Apple Barbecue Block Party. And, we get approached a lot as far as people saying, hey, we'd like to do this and you be a part of it. We'd like to do that and you be a part of it. And, you kind of hand a card out and say, okay, just give me a call or send me an email. And a lot of times it doesn't happen. It's just one of those that it happens a lot as far as getting approached, but a lot of things don't develop. And we got back, it was about a month later, we got an email saying, hey, are you interested in what we talked about? And we're like, yeah. And, not knowing that it would go anywhere from there. But a couple of months later, it was like, hey, we're ready to get plane tickets. We're like, oh, hey, yeah, all right, this is going to happen. So, and it happened. And it was definitely refreshing to come over there and see the excitement that Australia has in the low and slow style of barbecue and doing what, I've been doing for 24 years. And it's just really, really ramped up and getting going there. And it was awesome to see. And I really would love to come over and see it again.
Yeah, I'll bet we'd love to have you too, man. Now, this is going to be just a little bit of a sidetrack question. I just want to pick up on something you said before about being a guest chef at an event like this. What sort of duties does a guest chef have at an event like coming out to Australia for Yaks?
Well, we got there and they had organized they call it an all-star banquet, where we got there. And I tell you, it's, you hear guest chef and you think, hey, I'm just going to come and, sit around and let people, talk to me and take pictures or something. But we got there and we worked the whole time we were there. We worked hard. And, but that's what we do. I mean, it's like, that's our element. I mean, we wouldn't know any other way. But when we got there, we did the all-star banquet and we cooked 3 hogs for it. And we did, our barbecue chicken that we do. It's really, really good. And we did some side dishes. We did a pimento cheese, mac and cheese, and put on that banquet. And, of course, when we got there, it was really interesting, because we had to make our own sauces. We had to make our own rubs when we got there, and things are different as far as products and taste and what your say mustard and mayonnaise taste like different from what ours tastes like, just because of I guess additives and preservatives and things like that. So that was really interesting when we got there. We had to develop as close as we could, our dry rubs and our sauce and get that done. But so that was just another interesting part of the differences, in here and there. But once we did I'm jumping around a little bit, but once we did the VIP banquet, we went right into going to the area and getting it set up, because we actually had a vending booth at the festival that we cooked product and we sold product there at the festival. And we also did a demo. We did a couple of demos at the festival, so we had that obligation too. And just, basically talking to people and I went around and I made a point when I was there to go around and talk to all the cooking teams kind of while they were, in the trenches, so to speak, and cooking and just to meet them and just to, just get to know everybody. That's just kind of what I like to do. I like to network through things and get to know folks. And like I said, with social media now, keep up with everybody. And I've done that since I left there. And so that's kind of kind of the whole thing, you know. And then you jump on a plane, and you know as well as anybody the flight there and flight back. You know,
it's rough.
Taking 4 full days out. Oh man, you know, that was another experience of. I've heard of jet lag, but that was just a whole different. That was different. It took me a week to get my clock set back right.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I did the trip twice last year, and it didn't seem to affect me. But this last trip, man, it's been 2 weeks. I've only just started feeling good this weekend. It's incredible.
Exactly. You know.
So what's coming up in the future, man? What's coming up for BBQ Ninja?
I'll tell you, you know, we've got a lot going on. You know, we got a lot as a team going on, and you know, I'm trying to, you know, get my brand established and trying to get some momentum going there, and so, you know, we just amongst the U-Bonds team, we probably during the year are going to have now about 10 festivals through the year to do, and we'll go from, you know, New York, Chicago, St. Louis, Denver, New Orleans, Memphis, you know, so that's enough to keep anybody busy. And of course, through doing all that, you know, I'm trying to also get a brand established and try to attract sponsors for the team and myself, and just get out there and do what we do. You know, cook, meet people, and you know, just make friends along the way. That's the big part of what I do and what we do.
This is Mark Lambert with Operation Barbecue Relief, and you are listening to Smoking Hot Confessions.
The Smarfire is an essential barbecue accessory for anyone who loves their barbecue but still wants to spend as much time as possible with their friends and family. It's a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth pit controller which allows you to monitor and control the ambient temperature of your charcoal smoker from the convenience of the purpose-built smartphone app. Just tell the Smarfire what you're cooking, set your target temperatures, and let the Smarfire take care of the rest. It's got a range of world-first features. 5-volt power makes it easy to run wherever you are, and cloud connectivity means you can be at the shops picking up last-minute supplies or at your kid's soccer match and still keeping an eye on the cook. To get your Smarfire and start spending more of your free time doing more of the things you love, head to smarfirebbq.com and use the code word SmokingHotConfessions, one word, at checkout to save 10%. That's smarfirebbq.com and use the code SmokingHotConfessions, one word, at checkout to save 10%. Alrighty, Craig, welcome back to segment 2. In this segment, we're going to dig into that particular specialty of yours, whole hog. It's a category that's just kind of picking up here in Australia. I've only sort of seen it in competitions in the last 12 months or so. So I'm really going to pick your brains now about whole hog. How do you feel about that?
You know, whole hog is to me, it's just kind of like once you perfect that, then you can work down from there and you can figure anything else out. Because, you know, being able to get that hog perfect from the snout to the tail is when you have perfection.
Yeah, no doubt. To me, it seems to be one of the pinnacle skills for a pitmaster. I reckon, to be able to do the whole beast and get it all right from tail to snout. So are there any particular cultural or heritage significances for the whole hog? So, for example, I know that a lot of different beef cuts are steeped in, say, Texan cowboy lore. Is there anything similar for whole hog?
Well, whole hog now is really, really starting. I guess the breeding of the hogs in the United States has really started to be an art in itself, just as much as cooking one. You've got a lot of these small farms that are coming up that are, you know, specializing in certain breeds of hogs. You know, you got anything from your Berkshires to your red wattles to, you know, and that particular farm will have that type hog, and they'll, you know, nurture that hog from a piglet till it hits your pit. So, So there is, we have the Duroc hogs here, and which are great fat content hogs, and once you get to doing a whole hog a lot, you kind of migrate to a favorite that you like because of, whether you like it a little more lean, a little more fat, or what, but it's just what you get comfortable with, and it's what breed you get comfortable with. And so, but yeah, there is a lot of different breeds, and there's a lot of different, ways of cooking the different breeds because of fat content, muscle content, and different things like that.
Mate, that's fascinating that they're actually breeding pigs specifically for barbecue.
Oh yeah. There is people that have barbecue teams that will raise their own hog, and it's just become that far along where people are actually, like I said, for their own benefit, raising their own hog. They know what they're feeding it. They know what, there's some that feed them nothing but pecans because they want, that kind of flavor going into the meat, and there's some that feed them just corn, and so they kind of even specialize that much into that particular hog that, they're going to try to go to, say, Memphis in May and win a world championship with. So, it's the same, I guess, premises of buying Wagyu beef. I mean, you're going to pay top dollar, but hey, if you're going to win and compete, then that's what you got to do,
Yeah, I can't imagine Gold Coast City Council letting me set up a run of pigs out the back here. That's taking it to a whole nother level, isn't it?
Yeah, it may be a little difficult for you, but hey, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. So, mate, can you give us a rundown on all the different ways of cooking a whole hog?
There's so many different ways, and there's so many different pits and so many different styles, and just over the years that I've done it, anywhere from a center block pit all the way to, an old hickory, double wide. It's got the convecture technology, it's, and everything in between, an offset, is a different way. You've got your style, like a running style pig, the shoulders up, belly's down, looks like it's running. Just put stuff in the cavity, maybe a number 10 can to prop up the back. So it, looks like that. And then, there's another style where a good friend of mine, a great pitmaster, Skip Steele, does. He takes the actual skin off the hog all the way down to the belly, preserves the skin on the belly, but takes the rest of the skin off the hog and, puts rub and glaze all along the outside of the hog. And so that's another style. And then I call it the belly up, laid open hog. That's another style, which that style gets a lot more bark in the cavity of the hog. And we have another term is called a breakfast hog, where people will split down the loin, take the ribs and separate them away, and they put breakfast sausage all the way down the loins and put bacon across it. And what that does is it preserves that loin, and of course you're cooking sausage and bacon down into it as you cook it, so you get a great flavor into it, and it bodes well in a blind box when somebody eats a piece of that. So but yeah, there's another style that's like running, where they hourglass the top of the hog, cut out almost an hourglass shape from the front shoulders down along the loin into the hams, and remove the skin, put rub there, inject the hog all along there, and that's another way. But a lot of the hogs I've cooked have been offset. There's a guy on our team, Brian Campbell, that cooks a wonderful hog. Learned a lot from him. He cooks on a old, propane tank barrel offset, and been doing that for 25 years. And so anywhere from that to, like I said, the old hickory DW with the convecture technology, where you put that hog in there, and it's got a lazy soirees that comes out and rotates, so you don't have to reach in the back of the pit to try to get to the other side of the hog. You just pull it out, spin it, put it back in, you got the other side of the hog. So, but yeah, and that's something that over the years I've tried to do. It's with anything that pertains to barbecue. If I know somebody out there that is good at what they do, they've mastered a hog, or they've mastered a rib, or they've mastered a brisket or a shoulder, I'm going to learn from them. I'm going to go over and I'm going to offer my help. Let me help you do this. And we're to the point now where we're not doing, like I said, in many competitions. So there's not secrets, there's not somebody, with sides all around their tent going, hey, we don't want you to see what we're doing. A lot of what we're doing now is everybody's like, yeah, come on, see what we're doing. And that's what I do. I go, I learn and figure out the different styles and put it to work.
Yeah. So you've obviously come up with your own method of doing this now, from all this sort of, metamorphosis of all these different styles. Can you give us a rundown on your favorite way to do a whole hog?
Personally, my favorite way is the running style hog. It's that hog shows the best, if that makes sense. What it does is it actually has that hog propped up, and it looks like it's running. I mean, that's why it's called that style. And we cooked one in Houston like that running style, and it was propped up. And what we did is we kind of had it right at the door, so when people walked through the door, the first thing they saw was that hog right there looking at them. And it was propped up. And those people, as soon as they came through the door, first thing they would do is stop. And they were looking at that hog, and they're like, "Oh wow, look at that!" So not only for the style, what that does is with the running, the fat that's in that hog as it cooks renders into the meat, and so it's rendering down into the meat. So you're getting that benefit of the fat on the outside of the hog cooking down into the hog, and so between that and that hog propped up looking like it's about to take off and run off that table, I definitely like that style the best.
Man, that sounds so good. So good. So that rendering fat that you were talking about before, does that is that what stops the different parts of the hog from drying out? Because I know that different parts typically will cook in different ways.
Yeah, it does. It's the low and slow style, especially with a running hog, because your loins are up top. Cooking it at a low temperature is the way I have done it, and the way my experience is with that is that's the better way with a running hog, because you're putting less heat on those loins that are at the top, and so they're not cooking as fast. They're cooking a little slower, so your rendering is slower, so everything gets done at the same time. Now, the cavity up hog, when you flip it over and you cook it on its back, the whole concept of that is when that fat renders, it goes into the skin, and the skin acts as a bowl, and it holds all that fat in the bowl, so that meat's cooking in the fat. So that concept is like, it's impossible for this meat to dry out, because it's basically bubbling in fat.
Now that's interesting.
And in that style, people will introduce, or what I'll do, and what I did in Houston is I'll put a pork belly over the tenderloins of the hog. So that pork belly is protecting those tenderloins, and it's also slowing that cooking process down. So when you're trying to get those, 12-pound hams, a piece done, or 15-pound hams done, in the same time you're trying to get a, pound and a half, 2-pound loin done, you got to slow it, you got to slow that part down so the other part will catch up. And that's the whole concept of cooking that whole hog and getting everything from the front shoulders to the loin, to the tenderloin, to the ham, all done at the same time. That's the art.
Yeah, I'd imagine that can be quite tricky. I love the fact that one of the techniques to cooking a whole pig is to add more pig. You're talking about adding a pork belly to it. I love that.
Yeah, pork belly, or if you happen to not have one of those, butterfly out a pork butt, to protect those loins and tenderloins. And even like I said previously, there's people that'll line that loin with breakfast sausage and lay bacon across it for that same reason, to slow down the cooking of those loins, and so the shoulders and hams will catch up, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So good. So is the goal to have the whole pig come out at roughly the same texture?
Well, the thing about when you say texture, the different cuts of the hog are all different textures. That my favorite thing to do is when you got people there watching and you're doing a wedding catering or you're doing a party or something like that, is to reach in and to the belly of that hog and pull out what we call pig spaghetti. That's the belly. Yep. That's your bacon, but that's your true bacon. And you call it pig spaghetti, and you reach in, you pull it out, and it looks like cooked spaghetti strands. So that's the texture of the belly. And then you've got the hams, which are a longer, wider, muscle. I say wider when it cooks, it's white. And the longer muscles are in the ham, where the front shoulder has the shorter. You got the shank in there. You've got the what they call money muscle up at the spine, where the tenderloin is, where the loin is. So, you've got different textures of meat on that hog all the way down, and so it's just a matter of getting them to the temperature you're looking for and taking it off at the perfect time.
God, that's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful beast.
Yeah. So one question that most people new to whole hog want answered is, does the skin get all crackled up when cooking whole hog?
I'll tell you a couple of techniques that'll help with that. Now, if you do it running style, your skin, you want to protect the skin also. And what we do is at Ubon's, and what I learned from Brian Campbell that cooks whole hog with us, is he'll once he puts that hog in there, he'll oil the skin, with vegetable oil or olive oil. And then what he'll actually do is tuck a bed sheet around that hog and lay it over and have that outer skin protected by that bed sheet. So the smoke from the fire doesn't turn that skin too dark. It doesn't blacken the skin. That bed sheet protects that. It still gets the smoke in the underbelly, but it protects the outer skin from getting too dark or black. And, when you're low and slow in a hog, that skin is not going to ever be edible unless you do a hotter, faster cook on it, a direct heat, so to speak, to make that skin bubble and crackle and make it edible. Other than that, the low and slow part, that skin's not going to be edible. It's going to be way too chewy and tough.
Yeah, I can see why that makes a lot of sense. So overall, what would be your top 3 tips for cooking a whole hog?
Well, the center block pit would probably be number 3. Number 2 would certainly be an offset stick burner. And number 1 is the old hickory PW. It's just a consistent, and it's working smarter, not harder. And it produces a consistent product every time.
Got a project you'd like to work on with the SHC team? Shoot Ben an email on ben@smokinghotconfessions.com and let's have a conversation.
Whether you're an occasional backyard smoker, an avid barbecue competitor chasing a place on the national ladder, or a restaurateur looking for a full commercial installation, Hogpit Smokers' personalised service and hand-built quality won't disappoint. Hogpit Smokers was founded in 2015, and with over 30 years experience in the boilermaking industry, Jamie is a wizard with the welder and works from his own original designs. As a result, all Hogpit Smokers are 100% Australian made, and with the quality of workmanship and the highest attention to detail, your Hogpit Smoker will be made to last a lifetime. Custom work is no problem for Jamie, as he loves finding inventive solutions to unique situations. To find out more, check out Jamie's website. It's hogpitsmokers.com.au. That's hogpitsmokers.com.au. Alrighty, Mr. Barbecue Ninja, it's segment 3, our lightning round. So I'm just going to ask you a very quick question, and you can give me a rapid fire, one word or one sentence answer. 10 quick questions, real quick. You ready?
G sitting on O, ready to go.
Awesome. All right, number 1, brisket, fat side up or down?
Down.
2, chicken, breast, wings or thighs?
Wings.
3, pork ribs, St. Louis, baby back or spare?
Baby back all the way.
Number 4, sauce, on the meat or on the side?
On the meat. You got a good sauce, want to use it.
Awesome. 5, temps, low and slow or hot and fast?
Low and slow, like I live.
Number 6, what's something you find tricky to cook?
Alligator.
Ooh, stop the clock. Alligator, that's interesting. How do you go about doing that?
Well, I hunt them, I kill them, I clean them, I cook them, and I eat them. So, you know, but it's a tricky meat to cook. You know, it's kind of in between in between a fish and almost like a hog and a fish. You know, it's kind of, different texture meat, and it's tough to cook. It is. You can cook it too much too fast, and it's no good, and you get it right, it's great. Yeah, I've been doing a little alligator hunting over the last few years, so that's fun. That's something you need to do eventually.
Yeah, I reckon my insurance company will love that.
Awesome.
All right, start the clock again. Number 7, one tip or trick you wish you'd known sooner?
Be patient.
Number 8, the future. What do you think is going to be the next trend in barbecue?
Getting back to its roots.
What does that entail?
Well, I can go back to when I started to where it is, and thinking how it's going to get back to where it started. Just when I say back to its roots, barbecue has come here in the States, has gotten to be, and I'm talking more competition barbecue. It's gotten to be more money driven. You know, the people who have the most money can buy the best cuts, can buy the best smokers, can buy it has been what's winning. And so it's kind of evolved to he who has the most money wins. And now I think it's starting to trend back to, he who cooks good and produces the best product wins. I know that kind of sounds redundant because, I think now it's getting to where a guy with a barrel cooker can produce as good of a product, than a guy with a $10,000 cooker. So that's what I mean by getting back to its roots, is more of a guy pulling up in a truck and popping a homemade cooker out of the back and winning a competition, instead of a guy pulling up with a, $60,000 rig and, throwing the sides up and winning a competition. So I think the little guy is going to get back to having as good of a shot at winning a competition as the guy coming in that's got all the money.
And we all love rooting for the underdog, don't we?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. It's just mind-boggling when, we've been out of the competition world a little while, and to go back to see one of them and to see just how much it's evolved, and how much it's changed, and the money being spent in it is just unbelievable,
Yeah, for sure. So number 9, pellet grills in competitions, yay or nay?
Yay.
And number 10, if there were a fantasy barbecue league, who would you choose for your team?
My first round pick would be Smoking Hot Smarfires.
Good choice. Mate, you've been very generous with your time, and it's been very much appreciated. So, mate, the show is now all yours. So give whatever shout-outs you want and tell the listeners where they can track you down on the internet.
I mean, as far as where you can track me down, on Instagram, I'm at the BBQ Ninja. Twitter, I'm at _BBQ_Ninja, and Craig Verhage on Facebook. And as far as shout outs, man, I'd love to give a shout out just to the whole barbecue culture in Australia. You guys are amazing. I've met so many wonderful people over the years. In Houston last year, got to meet the Jagged folks, Jules and Glenn, and got to meet, Alan Stewart with Guerrilla Warfare, and Stephen Carter with Liquor Pigs, and, last year, got to meet Jess Piles, and this year having, you guys, Mark and Ben, and Saffron, and the guys that were there, is just has absolutely been a joy to hang around you guys and get to know you guys. But also all the other teams I've met in Australia, love to get a shout out to you guys. You're doing things right. You've got a wonderful track that you're on. You hold this track, and the whole scene in barbecue in Australia is going to continue to explode. So, and I'm looking forward to the day I get back over there and get in the middle of it.
Mate, we're looking forward to having you back over here as well. Thanks so much for sharing your time with me today, Craig. I had a ball meeting you in Texas and hanging out with you, and I look forward to having an icy cold Bud Light with you again soon.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to it. And here's cheers to a wonderful 2018.
Well, family, thanks for stopping by. I'm sure you learned as much here as I did. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. And until next time, take care of each other and keep on queuing.
Thanks for listening to the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast. Head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com for recipes, tips, and Ben's own confessions.